Hello, and welcome everyone to Heart of the Matter, a broadcast series where survivors come on and share their stories, compelling us to live the healthiest life we can. I want to remind everyone that heart disease is the #1 killer of women, taking the lives of 1 in 4. I want to also tell you that breast cancer takes the lives of 1 in 8. I give you these statistics because my guest today is a survivor of both. My name is Susan Smith, and I'm your host. I'm so proud today to have as my guest my heart sister, Nadia Chang. Nadia is a wife and a mother of 2 young children. She is currently a homemaker until the next adventure presents itself. Nadia's passion is taking care of her husband and kids with love and faith. When she's not homeschooling, she is do-it-yourselfing, gardening, or watching Marvel movies with her family. Nadia is a breast cancer overcomer and a Women Heart champion. I would ask you to welcome Nadia Chang. Hi, Nadia. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for having me.
I want everyone to know that Nadia is speaking to us today from Chandler, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix. And I'm going to ask her some questions after a bit. But for now, Nadia, would you tell us your story?
Of course, thank you for asking. Um, as Susan said, I was diagnosed in 2017 with breast cancer. Um, I had to do the double mastectomy and all of the different, chemotherapy and immunotherapy treatments and radiation also to take care of it. Part of those treatments had the side effect of affecting my heart. And in my case, it did. I was experiencing tightness in my chest, and just my resting heart rate would stay at 100, even if I was just sitting down. So I brought that to a cardiologist's attention, and everything still looked fine at the moment. But then another cardiologist took a look and stated that it looks like I was going to be affected. It hadn't happened yet, but so he was going to put me on medication. And before he could do that fully, my injection fraction had gone down, and I was diagnosed with chemo induced cardiomyopathy. So that's where my story started. It was actually in 2018 when I was diagnosed with my heart going down. So I had been doing chemotherapy and immunotherapy treatment in 2017. Um,
So, Nadia, what was your ejection fraction?
it had gotten in the 30s, possibly lower, but that's where they stopped talking to me about it. At that point, it was just let's get it back up, because the assumption was they were going to basically get it up so I can get back on immunotherapy to
So,
finish the breast cancer treatment. I'm sorry.
right. So you had to stop your chemo?
Yes, my immunotherapy. It was so I'd gone through all the chemo and the radiation at that point, and now it was immunotherapy, which is if you're familiar with this, it's like a chemotherapy, but it's not attacking the cells. It's trying to make your body work to. There was I had the HER2 new, which was one of the things that were feeding the cancer, and so that's what the immunotherapy was fighting is the HER2 new.
I see. Oh my goodness. So
Mhm.
double whammy for you.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask if you had any emotions after you had this diagnosis.
Wow. So, when you're going through breast cancer in the treatment and you're just like trying to stay on schedule to just get it done, and to hear that, okay, sorry, we have to cancel your next treatment. And anytime you get a call from your doctor and you didn't call them, you don't want to, it's just like you don't want to answer the phone. It's like if your doctor's calling and you didn't need that call back. So my emotions were all over the place. I remember going into my bathroom because I was trying to keep this very light for my kids at the time. They were very young, and so I went into my bathroom. I sat on the floor and I cried. I just cried. I got it out. I cried and I said, okay, got myself together and said, what's next? What do we need to do? And that's what I went to. I went through, cry mode, then let's go mode. So
I like that. I like to always talk about emotions on this broadcast because I want to be sure that the women watching know that that emotional roller coaster that one feels is perfectly normal. It's so common. We have it, the highs and the lows. So thank you for sharing that.
of course.
Do you do you did you have to make some lifestyle changes? I mean, you had two things going on. I wonder if you had to change your lifestyle.
Well, I like that you mentioned that. So in the beginning, I had already started changing my lifestyle because of the breast cancer. I was trying to basically help my body be strong and rebuild itself. Just trying to, make sure I'm active. And I also, at the end of my chemo, wanted to, because I knew that there was a possibility that my heart could be affected from all the treatments to take care of the breast cancer. So I look for supplements, and I'm first. I'm always first. What can I do naturally? So I started taking like different supplements to help, just bring antioxidants to try to protect my heart, and also building up my body to protect the cells, the more antioxidants, and to protect with the breast cancer too, because while you're going through it, you're like, well, I don't want to see this again or have to go through this again. So I had already started changing my lifestyle for the breast cancer, and that happens to help with also prevention and protecting your heart as well. But mainly, I mean, I remember running upstairs, up and down my stairs, and running around just to try to keep my heart strong and get that muscle going. And just being mindful, making sure that I'm staying as active as I can and as my body will allow at the time. So that was my biggest lifestyle change.
I can imagine. Do so now during COVID times, are you still running around your house, running up and down the stairs, or do you have a place you can go work out?
I'm always, it's funny because I'm always thinking about easy ways to be able to get in some type of activity, because it's not natural for me just to say, oh, I'm just going to go and do some squats and just do all. That's not natural. That is me. I have to make myself do it. So in the shower, I do put wall push-ups in my shower, and I do, just because it's nice, the water feels good on my back, and because of my double mastectomy, it's hard to do push-ups. So I just do it there. I try stretching sometimes in the shower. I also, when with the kids, instead of walking up the stairs, I run up the stairs. And then we walk. We're all home now during this nice pandemic time, and we go out and we walk in the evening after dinner. So that's been the biggest change for us as a family, is that we are all trying to stay active, and going out and walking has been our go-to for sure.
Those are wonderful ideas. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
I just was in the shower today. I would never have thought to do wall push-ups, so I'm going to try that. Thanks.
Okay.
Did you do you feel like you learned anything about yourself during this ordeal and after the diagnosis?
I definitely did. I learned that I want to be here. I want to live. I want to thrive. Beforehand, I always say before the breast cancer, I was kind of in autopilot and just doing the life thing with my kids, and just being a wife, being a mom, and not really, I guess, enjoying the ride, and sometimes just I feel, guilty now that a lot of times I'm just like, oh, I'm just so tired and this and this and this. And but once I went through the breast cancer diagnosis and going through breast cancer and the treatment, I realized that I want to live, but not only do I want to live, I want to thrive. I want to feel good. I want to feel at my best at every age and stage of my life. I want to grow old with my husband. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see my daughter in her wedding dress and my son get married, and I want to see grandkids and some great grandkids. So that's what I realized about myself is I have a passion and I want to do different things in my life, career wise, the next adventure. And so that was the biggest thing that I learned about myself is that I wanted, and I didn't want the opposite of doing well. So that's my biggest thing.
I so agree with you, and thank you for putting it that way. It's something we all realize that, we lived through this,
Hmm.
and, thank God. And so now we're
Yes.
here to really love every single minute.
Hmm.
I didn't catch it, or I didn't ask you, how old were you when this all started? Because you're a young woman.
Hmm. I was 37.
Okay.
I was 37. So and that was one of the things that I didn't share, but there was one cardiologist that told me when I was saying, well, I go up the stairs and then my chest is just tight. And he's like, look, you're too young to be having a heart attack. And I'm thinking, well, I'm too young to be having breast cancer, but here we are. And, I'm thinking this like, okay, but obviously it can affect us at any age and stage in our life. Um, because there was no way that I thought that all of this was about to happen to me at 37 at all.
Right. And it certainly can, and heart disease and breast cancer knows no age, and some
Right.
doctors just say the craziest things. That's too bad.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, my last question today is this: what is your advice to women about heart disease and also about breast cancer?
Okay. Great questions. So my biggest advice would be to know yourself, know your body when it feels well, and know your body when it doesn't feel so well. And don't ignore the the way our body's telling us that something's not right. Because at the very least, you get some good heartburn medicine if you tell someone what's going on with you. And at the very most, you save your life. And you have to be in control of that. Especially for me, I can say that if I had said something about what I was feeling in my breast, it was something that went on for 10 months. I let it go on for 10 months before I said, okay. And by accident, literally, I had a car accident and I was just kind of like, well, let me just go get myself looked at, just because I was so shaken up by it. And that's what saved my life. The weird part about it is that I probably wouldn't have gone and gotten it looked at because I kept telling myself, oh, it's this, it's that, and it's not a big deal. And so if I had not been uncomfortable enough to go in after the car accident, I who knows where I would have been at this time. However, on the bright side is that it was early enough. It was still further than what it needed to be, but it was early enough to stop it. But if I had went in earlier, I might have not had the heart effect about it because it would have been an easier fix than to be all the treatments that did take my heart down. So I would just say, um, just trust your body, trust what it's telling you. Especially with, if you feel a lump or a bump, don't just say it's just a lump or a bump. If you feel something going on in your chest, tightness, you're just not feeling yourself. Know when you're not feeling yourself too. Because I think another thing is we get so stuck in getting used to feeling uncomfortable that when we feel good, we're like, oh, whoa, what is that? So I think it's just knowing yourself and don't be afraid to get the help that you need, because again, if it's something simple, okay. At least you know. But if it's something big, you saved yourself, you saved your life, and you could save others too. So don't be afraid to share what's going on too with other people, because they could say, hey, that sounds a little bit more serious than just this, and could save your life too. So, and then, but don't stress. That's the other thing. Stressing, I think, does a number on your body all the way, with cancer, with heart disease. And just know your body, stay well and balanced, and do your best to manage stress. So I hope I hit on all
Those
the things that I have tried to do for my life.
those are three of the most important pieces of advice that you can give, and I appreciate you sharing them because those are the cornerstones of the things that I like to preach when I go out. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
knowing your body is ultimately the best thing,
It is.
and
It
keeping that
is.
stress out of your life, it's hard, but it's worth it. Well, I
Yeah.
thank you so much for being with me today and sharing
Thank
your
you so
story
much.
and your insights about everything you've been through. And
Thank
if
you.
you want to wait there just a minute, I'll chat with you when we're done. I'm going to say goodbye to our audience. Thank you for
Okay.
coming on today and
Bye.
joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and
Okay,
take care,
bye bye.
everyone. Bye bye.